Good morning, this is Erica Garcia for GCTV, and welcome to the Friday Morning News. 2 weeks ago, a group of Glen Cove High School students had the chance to meet their congressman and ask him questions related to school safety and gun control. Isabel Blas has that story.
This is Isabel Blas for GCTV here at the high school auditorium where Congressman Tom Suozzi is about to hold a town hall with a group of Glen Cove High School students. He's here to talk to them and listen to what they have to say about the recent tragic events that have the whole nation talking.
This event came to be because I happen to be on Twitter and I follow Congressman Suozzi on Twitter, and it was after the Parkland, Florida shooting tragedy, and Representative Suozzi put out a tweet saying that he'd love to speak to young people in his district, and we are in his district.
You know, Glen Cove schools are great, and the kids here are so important to me. This is my hometown, and this is a very serious issue we're facing in our country right now related to gun violence prevention. And the only way this is going to be different than all the times before is if young people get out and speak out and let them, their parents and other adults know that they're worried and that they care about this issue and they want to see some action. So I'm trying to encourage the young people here at the Glen Cove schools and other schools to pay attention to this issue and to get involved.
I reached out to him through my former student, Caroline, who's his daughter, and got in touch with him and asked him if he'd like to come and speak to some students in Glen Cove and get their opinions on gun safety and gun violence, and he was very enthusiastic about it, and it really came together in a matter of 4 days.
I think it's a very important matter considering all that's going on, especially in Florida. Safety in our schools is definitely a top priority, so I'm interested to see what he has to say.
I look forward to hear what my peers have to say. I look forward to learning from our congressman and hearing what his ideas are and what he plans to do, because I really want to see what the future of this issue is going to be.
I want to see how everyone feels about such an important issue and what someone so high up in our government has to say.
I mean, I know where I stand politically and my thoughts on these issues, but to understand how my peers think about it would be kind of interesting, I suppose.
I thought it was great. I thought everybody was very well informed and very interested and very active and very engaged, and that's the only way we're going to make a difference is by people paying attention and getting involved.
This was a unique opportunity for us to meet with one of our elected officials and make our voices heard. Tom Suozzi is a former Glen Cove mayor, a former Nassau County executive, but most importantly, he's a Glen Cove resident who sent his own children to this high school and made the time to come here and speak to us about this very important topic. We appreciate Mr. Suozzi's time and thank Mr. Beater for helping to arrange this town hall. For GCTV, I'm Isabel Blas.
Thanks, Isabel Blas. We appreciate Congressman Suozzi taking the time to talk to us. In a related story, this past Wednesday, schools across the country participated in a student walkout on the 1-month anniversary and the most recent tragedy in Florida. Dora Hill has that story.
What did you observe today from the students?
I observed a lot of maturity. I was super impressed by our students and just paying respect to all those lives that were lost at Parkland. Students decided to do different things. We had a huge group of students actually go and stand by the flagpole and sit in silence for 17 minutes to honor those lives lost. Some other students wrote letters of encouragement. I know there's something going on in the library.
So at 9:17, Mr. Santana came on the loudspeaker. He said a very beautiful message, and then he named all the students and the few teachers who were unfortunately killed and their ages. And it was honestly, it made it very real to all of us and showed us that it's something that can happen honestly anywhere and to anyone, and it made us really want to be heard and make a change.
What was it like to be there? Like, what was the energy?
It was like a very somber energy, like no one was speaking. It was very respectful.
Why do you think it's important that we get involved in things like this?
Well, it's just incredibly unfortunate what's happened, how a place of learning now has to become a place where people fear for their lives. It's interesting to see the different dynamic, although it's unfortunate that another event like this had to happen, how these kids are in high school and they're taking action and they're really taking the lead on this for other kids like myself to follow and to push for change. And I think we're doing a great job with them.
Thank you so much.
If just one person, speaks out for everything that happens, then that will create more followers and more people to stand up for what's happening.
It was a very somber mood once we kind of got ourselves into the headspace that we needed to be in to participate well in this. And once I got outside, it was sort of like, it was a very respectful atmosphere. People were really thinking, I think, of the victims because, this was very important. It's important that we respect them.
Around the time with the Sandy Hook incident, at that time I didn't exactly know that my cousin wasn't in that school, so I had the assumption that she was. So I'm freaking out about it. So it's sort of like I can relate to the people that have actually lost their loved ones there. And it's just like a very sad kind of thing because no one deserves to lose a loved one like that.
We all need to take time and reflect on, because it could have been anyone. It could have been any of us. Doesn't matter which high school, doesn't matter who you are or where you came from.
But what I want to say, while I cannot, support a student walkout, I do support our students and their need to voice their opinions and voices because, I think a lot of people have labeled your generation as like the entitlement generation. People are caught up in social media and in themselves. But if there's any silver lining to the strategy is that I think people are waking up. And you guys are the future. The future isn't mine anymore, it's yours. And like I said in my announcement, the best way to predict the future is to actually create it because you have that power. So, super impressed. I have so much respect for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dora. About 150 of you walked out and many more wrote letters and signed the banner in the library. We here at GCTV are planning to send 17 messages to the Parkland School in Florida to honor the 17 lives lost last month. See Mr. Berry for more details. That's all for the news today. Don't forget, tonight is the annual Red and Green Games. Show up in the gym and support your team. For GCTV, I'm Erica Garcia. Have a great weekend.